Welcome back to my dark corner of this sick world.
I didn't see you come in.
This week we're looking at the Brainiac, or Baron of Terror.
Have you ever heard anything more absurd, Lord Inquisitor?
In 17th century Mexico, Baron Vitelius is found guilty by the Inquisition and sentenced.
To be dressed in the clothing of shame.
I do not like the clothing of shame. They also burn him. But the Baron is saved by hitching a lift on a passing comet. And if you think that looks silly, just wait till it crashes to Earth 300 years later. Bringing the Baron back to fulfill a terrifying promise.
I shall return to your world within 300 years. I will kill each and every one of your descendants.
At which point I imagine the Inquisitors are thinking, you're going to kill my descendants in 300 years? That doesn't really affect me.
This doesn't make any sense.
Also, I did the math, and even allowing for just 2 generations per century and just 2 children per generation for each of the 4 Inquisitors, by 1961, that still makes 256 descendants. And it seems too much to hope they all stayed in the same place. This is just not a practical plan.
I guess it's just useless.
Imagine my surprise then when it turns out that each Inquisitor just has 1 descendant, and they all seem to live in the same town, so the Baron can just invite them round for a party. You'd think the family would change appearance more in 300 years. Okay, fair play. He has changed.
Yeah, I guess so.
By the way, how the Baron has a castle and enough mates to fill it, despite having spent the last 300 years in space, is a plot hole it's best just not to think about.
As you know, Inspector, I just recently came to live here.
It's safe to say that the Baron has changed while he's been away. And he now sets about his revenge.
I must carry out my revenge. Your ancestor defended me 300 years ago.
Boy, some people can really hold a grudge. This revenge has what feels like a distinctly Latin flavour, as he hypnotises them with a lighting effect, immobilising them while he makes out with their wife or girlfriend and all they can do is stare. Then he uses his forked tongue to pierce their skulls and extract their brain, which he keeps in a chest, so he can help himself to a spoonful from time to time. Or, if the mood takes him, he may suspend his victims upside down in a bathtub. You know, it's starting to dawn on me, this is actually quite a weird film.
Could it be that the whole thing's a hallucination?
But that's not the problem. The problem is, nothing this bizarre should be this boring.
I hate to say it, Professor, but it's the truth.
It's just conversation punctuated by the occasional murder.
What a shocking tragedy this.
There's no characters, no development, and no tension, because the only concession to actually finding the killer is people every now and then commenting on what a coincidence it is that all the Baron's party guests end up dead with their brains sucked out.
It's really a strange coincidence, isn't it? The 2 are together at your house. Do you remember, don't you, Baron?
Somehow the police do track him down, and even though they still think he's just a run-of-the-mill murderer, they've brought flamethrowers. They take a fucking hard line on crime in Mexico. If you've got a film you'd like us to review, leave a comment below. Click here to subscribe, here to see more reviews, or if you'd like to take your chance in the Dark Corner's mystery box of death, click down there.
This hearing has come to an end.